Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 9th, 2011, roughly 3 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States in the suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You are tuned into Evision, and as usual, I am your host, Eric. And I want to start off by thanking you all for tuning in as usual, and for tuning in the past. And I also want to send out an apology to anybody I may have offended with the last episode that I did, but you know what, the stupidity in this country has gotten to me, and I just had to, that was just like the straw that broke the back. But anyway, enough of that. On a positive note, in the background, I was going to open up with an original copy of Wasps Inside the Electric Circus, because I'm cataloging my audio tapes into my computer for, you know, to save them for far beyond whenever. And because of something I heard on the radio today, I decided to actually change gears from the heavy metal idea, and I went with some live Grateful Dead, the Boston Garden, June 28th, 1974. It's a wall of sound show, which they only did a few of because the production was so expensive that they just couldn't really afford to do it for the whole tour. So anyway, that's what you hear in the background. I have a couple topics I'm going to talk about today, and they're all ones I came up with. I'm still waiting for your comments and suggestions to come in. The first topic I came up with that I heard somebody talking about recently was the topic of the Star Wars epics, the original trilogy versus the new trilogy, which one they thought was better. And I'll start off by telling you I am 38 years old, and at 5 years old I saw Star Wars on opening day. Me and my grandfather waited in line. Those of you who know me have heard this story a million times. If I told you the number of times I've seen the original trilogy, you'd be like, there's no way he knows that, there's no way. Believe me, if I told you, you would be in disbelief. And I was really excited when the new ones came out, even though they were, in my opinion, technologically amazing. Acting wise, okay, and I don't know, I have my opinions, everybody's got their opinions, but in my opinion, the original trilogy is the better trilogy. Now mind you, remember, this is all one story in 6 chapters, so yes, the 1 through 6, the way they have it numbered now, is in order, but to watch them in the order that I grew up with holds a certain magic to it. And if you watch them in the other order, you already know what's happening. You know who's going where with what, blah, blah, blah. And not to mention, because of who I saw it with at the time I saw it, being it was brand new when I saw it, each one of them, not just the first one, but each one of them, you know, for nostalgia purposes, they hold a special place in my heart. And the whole series together, along with the books and everything else, are my favorite story of all time. But that's another topic for when I have more time. If you want to hear more about that, let me know. But I could basically recite all 3 of the original movies by heart if I had the time. Maybe one day I'd have to get permission and do that in a one-man show or something. But all in all, I mean, granted, special effects wise, and I'm not even talking about the reissues of the original trilogy, which were good. They added some things, but they also added things they shouldn't have. The DVD, it's a whole can of worms I could open up with how they really screwed up in the re-releases of the original trilogy, and even in the DVD releases when they first hit DVD for the first time. Which, by the way, from what I understand, sometime this year or next year, all 6 movies will be released on Blu-ray. Sorry for that spoiler. The second thing I want to talk about, you know, I've been trying, and I swore up and down I was going to avoid this subject like the plague, because everybody's talking about it, and even though it's fun to follow and funny to hear, it's actually really sad what's going on with, yes, I'm going to say it, Charlie Sheen. I was going to stay away from this, but I came up with something last night, and unfortunately, one of the guys one of the hosts on my morning show, one of the sidekicks, whatever, on my morning show came up with the idea after I did, but said it on the air first. So anybody that listens to the show I'm talking about, you know what I'm referencing. I actually, if you asked people that were around me last night, I should have put this on the air last night, then I would have came out with it first, but he put it in a different way. But what if this whole Charlie Sheen thing is a hoax and he is actually messing with us? Mind you, this guy is an actor. He might not be, I mean, at one time, yeah, he was A-list, and he's been in, like, a lot of B-type movies at times, and this, that, and the other thing, but all in all, the guy is a good actor, okay? And granted, he's doing whatever he's doing, habit-wise. I mean, there's no doubt about it, the fact that this guy's on something. But what if he's taking it to a slightly different level to get more attention, and, as was added by the guy on my morning show, rumors were he was trying to some way get out of a contract for 2.5 Men, I believe. What if on top of all that it was a hoax to try and get out of his contract and get more money out of them, for now he's trying to sue them for breach of contract? What if this guy's screwing with everybody? We're all going to be laughing at ourselves, I think. I mean, unless tomorrow he drops dead, which God forbid, I hope it doesn't. This is really sad for his kids. I could give a crap about him at this point. I mean, I would hate to see anything happen to him, but from the last video and the last rant I saw, this guy's in trouble. And that's all. That's about all the time I'm going to spend on that, because if you ask people around me, I swore up and down I was not going to mention this on this show, because it's just been saturated in the press. As funny as I find the quotes, as outlandish as I find the quotes, it's just a sad situation, and it shouldn't really be laughed at. And if this guy, if you really want to help this guy, I suggest everybody just stop paying attention to him and feeding into him. And all these bimbos he's got around him, and all these idiots he's got around him, unless this is a hoax, okay? Everybody needs to, they're just in it for his money, or whatever 15 minutes they think they can get out of it, whatever. Because now the one chick's in court all over the news. Look, stop feeding into this crap. Why do we care so much on top of that? If this guy wants to destroy his life and kill himself, let him, okay? It's on him. It's sad for us, it's sad for his kids, it's sad for his family. But if we stop feeding into it and stop paying attention to him, it'll go away one way or the other. Enough about that. My last topic that I wanted to talk about and touch on was, also ever since I was about 5-6 years old, I have been a major professional wrestling fan. And it is that time of year again, folks, for you folks that do or don't follow wrestling. We are on the road to WrestleMania 27, roughly 24 days away, 25 days away. We've had, and anybody that follows wrestling already knows what I'm going to talk about, but I want to give my views on it real quick. We had The Rock returning a few weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we had The Undertaker and Triple H come back. We had JBL come back the other night with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And on the TNA side of things, an announcement for anybody that might not... TNA, let me tell you, as much as I'll still watch WWF, and those of you who know me will never hear me call it WWE, TNA has got something going on, big time. They've really risen in the past few years. They've gotten away from a lot of things, and they went back to a real style of professional wrestling from back in the day. They get a little silly sometimes, but I have to announce the winner and new TNA Heavyweight Champion, coming back after a few months of injury, the Icon Sting. Thank you. What an amazing... I thought The Undertaker and all that was fabulous. When they hit Sting, even though they ripped off The Undertaker's return beginning with the date, the way they did it, the presentation they had, kudos to TNA. Bringing back Sting and destroying, even though Jeff Hardy took it to him, destroying Jeff Hardy in the end. As much as I'm a Jeff Hardy fan, my wife is in love with Jeff Hardy. I'm sorry, baby, but when the real Masked Warrior comes in, that's all she wrote. Sorry. And WrestleMania 27 will be very exciting. I just found out that the reason I've always known that The Undertaker has been injury prone and has had major injuries, but he has been reported with rotator cuff injuries. That's why he's taking more and more time off. But I want to tell everybody now, you're hearing it here first, even though it was announced on Bleacher Report. I've been saying it for 12 years now, okay? Ever since WrestleMania 15, I have been saying The Undertaker will go 20-0 and retire undefeated at WrestleMania 28 next year. And if not, then, as much as I would love to see Triple H win at WrestleMania, you are taking my favorite wrestler, Triple H, and putting him against a streak that is unheard of in wrestling. You have Goldberg's undefeated streak, went 100 and some odd wins without losing, but The Undertaker 20-0 come next year. And everybody else that came back, welcome back. As usual, I need to put out there questions, comments, complaints, show suggestions, and ideas. Local unsigned bands in the tri-state area, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, any playhouses, theater groups, performance artists, please contact me at evisionproductions@clear.net. That's EV, excuse me, sorry, little frog in my throat, people. You never know what you're going to get with this show. This ain't an act here. This is real life, real what's going on. I've said that before. So again, questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, show ideas, local unsigned artists, tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, playhouses, theater groups, performance artists. Please, everyone, contact me either here or, as I always say, anonymously. You can contact me at evisionproductions@clear.net. That's EVISION Productions, all one word. I know you folks are not technical idiots out there, but I like to make sure you get it right. evisionproductions@clear.net. And for now, that's all I have for you. I want to thank everybody as usual for tuning in before, and hopefully tuning in the future. I will be back on track. Peace to all my visionaries, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.